Colonel Sir, thank you for the opening remarks. Can you throw some light on the operation that was conducted on May 6th, May 7th, and going on up to May 10th, the intervening night of May 11th, before Pakistan asked for a ceasefire and asked for the American intervention for a ceasefire? What exactly transpired during these days, and how is it a significant change of doctrine for India, for Bharat?
May 2025 is a landmark in the history of our country. The cowards of Pakistan Army, led by its generals and failed Marshal Asim Munir, he had sent terrorists into India who on 22nd April at Pahalgam killed in cold blood 26 innocent civilians, and asking them before that whether they are Hindus or Muslims. And every Hindu was killed in front of his wife, children. And they were told, go and tell Modi what we have done. The country today is very fortunate to have Shri Narendra Damodar Das Modi, a dynamic person, as our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister. He is the one who named the Operation Sindoor, and he gave a full and free hand to the armed forces to inflict punishment on Pakistan, so that they learn a lesson and stop this cross-border terrorism. I must say, both the people of India and people of Pakistan want peace. We have no ill will towards the people of Pakistan. But who is it that is an obstacle to peace between the two countries? It is the generals led by failed Marshal Asim Munir of the Pakistani Army, who are dead against India and do not want to have any peace. And they foolishly think they can wrest or annex Kashmir, which they can never do. They tried in 1947-48, they tried in 1965 war, they tried in 71 war, and again in 1999 Kargil war. During 71, thanks to Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who was the architect for the division of Pakistan and the war between India and Pakistan, that at the end of the 71 war, on 16 December 71, the Commander-in-Chief of the Pakistan Armed Forces in East Pakistan, Lieutenant General A.A.K. Niazi, along with 93,000 Pakistani soldiers, they surrendered to the Indian Army. It was an ignominious defeat. We thought Pakistan would have learned their lesson. No. Unfortunately, Madam Indira Gandhi, despite being advised by then Chief of Army Staff, Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, he had told her, please do not return this 93,000 prisoners, you must ask Zulfikar Ali Bhutto during the Shimla talks in July 72 to vacate Pakistan occupied Kashmir and then only release them. Had Indira Gandhi stuck to and told Bhutto that vacate Pakistan, then only we'll release this 93,000 prisoners, Pakistan would have vacated it. The Pakistan army at that point of time, with their morale in their boots and the back shattered, was in no position to refuse the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Unfortunately, the advisors of Indira Gandhi, who were in the payroll of the CIA and KGB, prevailed upon her by telling her, whispering in her ears, that as per their reliable sources, she is being recommended for award of Nobel Prize for Peace. Unfortunately, Indira Gandhi fell for that and ordered Sam Manekshaw to release the prisoners. And that's how we lost a golden opportunity, which I don't think will come again, to regain POK. Not that we are not going to regain POK, we will, but through a different method, which I'll come to it later. Now coming back to the main topic, the aim of Operation Sindoor was very clear and precise. It was to give a slap to Pakistan, hit them hard so that they wake up and not misbehave with India anymore. So that was the mandate given to the armed forces. So it was on 7th of May, the Indian armed forces attacked 9 of their terrorist bases deep inside Pakistan. Unfortunately, Pakistan retaliated with their drones and missiles, which fortunately none of them they reached their target in India. They were all countered by our anti-air defense forces, by our own missiles and drones. We neutralized each one of them. In response, we then let go our missiles. Today we can be proud of that this country has got a very strong defense shield with multiple layers of air defense systems. And having that, we let go our own missiles and they destroyed a number of Pakistani airfields, their radar installations, and made them totally inoperable. So that's a great achievement. So the Pakistanis then realized that they cannot fight India. So they went to their Uncle Sam, America, and the Americans tried to negotiate. We clearly told them, this is a bilateral issue. If the Pakistanis want the war to be stopped, ask their general to ring up our DGMO, which they did. The DGMO of Pakistan, he rang up the DGMO of India and begged for a ceasefire. And that's how, by 10th of May, we called off I would not say called off Operation Sindoor. We put an end to part 1 of Operation Sindoor. And we have told the Pakistanis you misbehave, we'll start part 2 of Operation Sindoor. And this time, any terrorist attack from your side, it will be construed as an act of war, and we shall deal with you in full force, letting go our Army, Navy, Air Force. And that's how these were the parameters laid down and achieved by the Indian Armed Forces in Operation Sindoor.
Can we have a huge round of applause to Colonel Saab for that brilliant, detailed answer, well articulated. Thank you, sir. During your previous answer, you spoke on how India's air defense system matched up to the Pakistani missiles that were seeking to attack Indian cities. Pakistan, in retaliation to the initial strike on May 7th early morning, where instead we attacked the terror infrastructure of Pakistan, destroyed the headquarters of Bawalpur, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Lashkar-e-Toiba and the Hizbul Mujahideen, who have been carrying out Mumbai 26/11 attack, Parliament 2001 strike, as well as Bengaluru attack and even the Pulwama attack in 2019. When we attacked the terror infrastructure of Pakistan, they retaliated by targeting Indian cities, Jammu, Aknur, Delhi. All of this was thwarted by India's famed air defense missile system, air defense system. Today, many of you may be aware, many of you might have read in the news, Iran and Israel are involved in a huge conflict in the Middle East. Israel, as we have read previously, is known for its famous Iron Dome system, which can deflect missiles coming from the enemy territory, coming from Palestine, Iran, Jordan and other places. Whereas there was not much talk about the indigenous, Indian-made air defense system of Bharat. How did India's air defense system match up to the Pakistani attack during the Operation Sindoor? And what does this tell us about Make in India defense, Make in India in defense, as well as Atmanirbhar Bharat? Today, is it a time for us to feel proud of our own missile systems, of our own missiles, of our own air defense system, while we can somehow try to reduce the imports that we attract through the defense, in the defense sector? Can you please shed some light on this, sir?
A very good question posed by Shri Aravind. Now we talk about
tell the students
our
concentrate
own
on studies,
air defense.
technology, then join strengthen
India today, again,
It's one of the questions.
I would like to
We'll
thank,
get into it. Yeah.
or we should thank our Prime Minister Modi for having encouraged our scientists to come up with Atmanirbhar, that means to become self-reliant, and to produce the best of armaments, whether it's tanks, guns, aircrafts or missiles, the best of it in the country. And it is on account of this Atmanirbhar that today we can be proud of all our armaments, and especially the missile shield which we possess. The missile shield which we possess is not in just one layer, it is in 3 layers of missiles being fired to counter enemy missiles at various levels and at various distances. If I may have the second part of your question.
Compared to the Israeli Iron Dome air defense system, how does Indian-made indigenous air defense system match up?
Again, I would say we ought to be proud that compared to the Israeli air defense system, which they call it the Iron Dome, our own air defense system is far, far better and much more effective. So it was seen during the 3 days conflict or 4 days conflict that Pakistan fired numerous drones and missiles at India. But as I said, we countered each one of them. We did not allow anyone to cross and do any damage. This is a very great achievement. And we are further building up on it. We are refining our missiles. We are refining our air defense system to see that we strengthen it further. Not only that, our missiles are so accurate. They call it CEP, Central Error of Probability, of 1 meter to go and hit the targets, whether it's their airfields, their ATC, air traffic control system, or their radar system. So Pakistan by now should know whom they are dealing with. And if they are wise, they should not try this once again. And if they do, I would say that country is doomed.
Another round of applause. Thank you. Sir, during the Operation Sindoor, there was another aspect of it which is not really talked about. India took certain non-military action, or as we say in the technical terms, non-kinetic action, by suspending the Indus Water Treaty. What is the significance of this, and how exactly will the enemy, the adversary Pakistan, suffer as a result of this Indus Water Treaty being put in abeyance? Does it have any impact, and why is it important for youngsters to know about this treaty and how it was, not aligned with India's interests?
I would say again, thanks to Shri Aravind for highlighting this non-kinetic action taken by India. A country, only that country which is militarily strong and economically strong, for they go hand in hand, is respected by the world. Nobody respects a weak country. And today, India is a country to reckon with. People stand up and acknowledge both our military strength and our economic strength. And thanks to, I shall not tire quoting the Prime Minister again and again, thanks to our dynamic Prime Minister, that for the first time, that India has reacted by suspending the Indus Water Treaty. As you know, there are 5 main rivers which flow from the Himalayas or Tibet into India in the west. So, and they all come from Indus. So, and one of the rivers is Indus. India had signed a treaty in 1950 called the Indus Water Treaty, sharing the waters of these rivers between India and Pakistan. Unfortunately, the leaders at that point of time, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru to be precise, they did not look ahead and gave away major portion of the water to Pakistan. Now that we show no country can survive without water. Water is a basic necessity, not only for drinking, but for agriculture. And both in India and Pakistan, especially in the areas of East Punjab and West Punjab, water is the source of life. Now that we have stopped water flowing from the Indus into Pakistan, Pakistan is in a jam. They will soon face starvation. If there is no water, there is going to be no crops, no agriculture produced. And the people of Pakistan are soon going to starve. It's then they will realize what's happening. And when they starve, that is the time to remind the people of Pakistan that all this is the doing of failed Marshal Asim Munir and the generals of Pakistan. It's high time they rose against them. So, this is a great move by India, stopping water flowing from Indus and the other rivers into Pakistan. The results will be seen very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that concise and well articulated response. Now we have understood that there is a military aspect as well as a non-military aspect to the Operation Sindoor, which India carried out. But here there was this demand from the entire Indian population. Let's reclaim POK. Let's take back what is ours. Whether it's in the news channels in the evening or in the social media sphere. During this Operation Sindoor and the 4-day conflict, every Indian wanted us to reclaim POK. And in your first answer, you also said that I will get back to you on the POK matter. Through all this Indus Water Treaty, as well as the kinetic action on the Pakistani terror infrastructure as well as the military bases, what is India or what is happening internally in Pakistan that could someday lead to India finally reclaiming POK? Is it possible in the near future, and how should we go about reclaiming POK?
It is unfortunate that we allowed Pakistan to take away a portion of our Kashmir. They call it Azad Kashmir and we call it Pakistan occupied Kashmir. We must go into the genesis. Pakistan attained independence on 14th of August 1947 and India on 15th of August 47. Both the countries at that time had their Chief of Army Staff, then called Commander-in-Chief, where on both sides were British Army officers. And Jinnah told his Army Chief that I want Kashmir for Pakistan. You do what you like. And having said so, the Commander-in-Chief of the Pakistani Army launched an attack on Kashmir. So, they initially called it a guerrilla force. They initially called it tribesmen, but the Pakistan Army was very much involved. Pandit Nehru, on our independence, with his vast knowledge other than military, he said, India does not require an army, for we have no aggressive designs on any other country. We can do with police. With that sort of an attitude, taking advantage of that, Pakistani, they launched their attack on the state of Jammu Kashmir with a view to forcibly get hold of it. We were most unprepared at that point of time, and hence the aggressive Pakistani invading forces, they advanced rapidly to occupy quite a large chunk of Jammu Kashmir. It is only when, and then we had a very foolish king, the Maharaja of Jammu Kashmir, Shri, who thought he would neither join Pakistan nor opt for India, but remain independent, for which there was no clause. And when the Pakistani raiders reached the outskirts of Srinagar, they were just about 6 miles from Pahalgam airfield in Srinagar, that the Maharaja of Kashmir, Shri, requested India to bail him out. Sardar Patel, the Home Minister, he said, you sign the accession, instrument of accession, saying that you join India, we will come to your help. Without that, we have no business to enter Jammu Kashmir. So, on 26 December 1947, the Maharaja signed the instrument of accession with India, and on 27th, very next morning, early morning, 27th October, the Indian Army flew in Dakotas into Pahalgam airfield. And immediately after landing, they started fighting and evicting the Pakistanis from Kashmir soil. Very soon, the Indian Army had a formidable strength in Jammu Kashmir. And all the troops were flown in by Air Force aircrafts. And they soon went on offensive all over. So much so, in no time, the Pakistani forces, they were on the run, withdrawing from all over. They were on the run. That is the time Field Marshal K.M. Karyappa, who was the CNC of the forces in Jammu Kashmir at that point of time, he told Nehru, just give us 10 days time. We shall throw out the complete Pakistan army out of Jammu Kashmir. Unfortunately, Nehru did not listen to his military commanders. He went to the UN and asked for a ceasefire. Not only that, he promised plebiscite in Jammu Kashmir. Now tell me, who appeals for ceasefire? The person who is winning the war, or the person who is losing the war? The person who has got an upper hand, or the chap who is losing the war? It is the person who is losing the war. He requests for a ceasefire. Unfortunately, in the case of India, when we had the upper hand, Nehru, I would say foolishly, went to the UN and asked for a ceasefire. And that was the start of the Kashmir problem for India. Your later part?
The second part of the question is, how do we go about reclaiming POK?
Yes. So as I said earlier, we had a golden golden opportunity to regain POK after the 1971 war, when Zulfikar Ali Bhutto came to India, and at Shimla they had talks. So we lost that golden opportunity. Now, let's talk of today. How do we regain POK? Will we regain POK? Rest assured, we will regain POK. The conditions in Pakistan today is a failed state, a country of beggars. They keep going from country to country, Saudi Arabia, China, whichever country can give them money, they go begging. They are not neck deep in debt. Their debt has crossed above their nose. They are sinking. You look at Pakistan, it is totally economically in tatters. Nobody has any respect for them. So it is disintegrated. There is so much of discontentment. The people of POK have risen against the central government of Pakistan and say, we do not want to stay with you. We would like to join India. Those people, Kashmiris in Kashmir, which is part of India, they are much, much better off. And so also all the Kashmiris. Coming back, you have problem today in Balochistan. Those people have risen against the central government of Pakistan and say they have declared themselves independent. They do not want to wish to be part of Pakistan. So, Pakistan is having a very difficult time in controlling the rebellion in Balochistan, which is going to grow only, and time is not far away, then Balochistan is going to break away. Come to Sindh. You have the Geo Sindh movement. Sindh is today dead against their Punjab province, because Punjab province is not letting the water, whichever they have been getting, to Sindh. They have not been giving water to Sindh, thus badly affecting their agriculture. Then we have Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It is populated by Pathans and Pashtuns who are backed by Afghanistan. Afghanistan does not recognize the Durand line, which is supposed to be the boundary between Pakistan and Afghanistan. So, rebellion is growing everywhere. They have no money. So, there is no requirement for us to attack, mount a military operation to regain POK. Why waste lives? So, all that we have to do is do our best to encourage what's happening in Balochistan, Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to break away. So, the moment we do that a little more seriously, Pakistan would break up into 5 parts: East Punjab, West Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Pak-occupied Kashmir.
Friends, India is today fighting a 3.5 front war. What I mean by this is that on one side we have Pakistan, who consider us their eternal enemy. The very reason of their existence is the destruction of India. Above us we have the second largest economy in the world and the highest populated country in the world, China, who are insecure about a rising power within their neighborhood. On our right side, we have Bangladesh, which used to be Pakistan, the eastern part of Pakistan, and today is in a position where a military dictatorship is ruling the country. And the other 0.5 are the inimical forces within the country, those who question the very significance of Operation Sindoor, those people who cast doubts on the Indian Army and the armed forces, and these are those people who take the support of the media to spread propaganda against Bharat, both internally and abroad. Considering this nature, what is it that we as Indians must remember? How do we stay united? How do we fight this misinformation? And what next for Bharat?
Again, a very good question posed by Shri Aravind. If we look at the map of India, we are surrounded by enemies. Pakistan to the west, China to the north and the northeast, and now Bangladesh. It is so sad that the Indian Army shed its blood. More than 3,000 soldiers died, and over 9,000 were injured. Some lost their hands, some their legs, some their eyes. So, we gave our blood in the war of liberation of Bangladesh in December 71. And these very people are today so ungrateful that they are stabbing India in the back. They have become friendly with Pakistan, want to be friends with Pakistan once again, forgetting that the Pakistani soldiers in 1971 raped 2 million Bengali Muslim women and killed, slaughtered 3 million Bengali Muslims in then East Pakistan. They are ungrateful people. So, they are inviting China to construct their airfields now. Well, this is the world we are living in, and as a country, we should prepare ourselves to deal with all these three countries when push comes to shove in war. I would say, fortunately, the present leadership, though not initially, over a period of time in the past 11 years, have woken up to the requirements of having a strong defense apparatus. That is, a strong army, navy, air force. Look at the air force today. To fight a defensive war with Pakistan and China, a minimum of 42 fighter squadrons are required. Each squadron has 18 fighters. So, in spite of importing 3 squadrons, 2 squadrons of Rafale aircraft from China, today we have only 30 squadrons, fighter squadrons, to fight a war against the authorized strength of 42. The government is aware of it, and I am sure these deficiencies will be made up, though not immediately, but at a fast pace in the times to come. So for China's concern, China's job, main aim, we are a democracy and they are communists, a totalitarian regime. So China does not like to see India growing both economically and militarily. Pakistan is a proxy for them. So first, they would like Pakistan to keep India on the edge, unstable. Secondly, when things, as even in China, there's a lot of instability there. The job, once the world's leading goods producer today, a lot of people there are without jobs. Their economy is on the decline. So, when it comes to that, you can rest assured Xi Jinping will launch an attack on India. And the next war is not going to be between India on one side and China and Pakistan on the other. It's going to be India on one side, China, Pakistan and Bangladesh on the other. So it's going to be even more challenging. And rest assured, the Indian armed forces are strong enough to give each one a bloody nose. So, gone are the days of 1962, October, November 62, that we suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of the Chinese. It's all thanks to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister. He made it a point not only to not listen to his generals, but insulting them. We had Lieutenant General Thorat, who was the Eastern Army commander, who time and again warned Nehru that the Chinese are going to attack us, India. He told Nehru that in October 1959, 3 years before the attack. So, but Nehru, who was more interested in getting a Nobel Prize for peace, ignored the general's warnings, and that's how we suffered a humiliating defeat. Now coming back today, we have our forces, enough forces of the Army, Navy, Air Force to take on China, Pakistan and Bangladesh. So, in China, it is no more going to be a defensive war. Today, the Indian Army is prepared, has planned to go into Tibet and liberate it. We will not succeed immediately, but time will come when China themselves, the present-day China, will break up and Tibet will get liberated on its own. Now coming back, Pakistan, our relationship with US. Today, it is the US which requires India more and not the other way around. We are on our own 2 feet. We are not dependent on US for anything. So, it is time we openly told Shri Trump that the President of the United States that it is you who requires us more and it's not India which requires US. Then only people will respect us even further. We are not a vassal state of the US. Mind you, it's just a question of time that there's going to be a war in the South China Sea between the US and China. And the US finds that the only country which can counter China or act as a counterbalance is India. Having said that, the United States, irrespective of whether ruled by the Democrats or the Republicans, they have been uniformly anti-India. Americans do not wish to see a strong India, a prosperous India, which is economically and militarily strong. So, in 1971, the US openly sided with Pakistan. They are equally responsible, United States, for the genocide of Bengali Muslims in then East Pakistan. Not only they having openly sided with Pakistan, their 7th Fleet, they moved their naval armada from Pacific into the Indian Ocean, into the the Bay of Bengal, to threaten us and to stop the war, and India to agree for ceasefire. It is thanks to then USSR, with whom we had signed a treaty of peace, friendship and cooperation, which came to our aid, and the Russians had moved their submarine fleet to the Bay of Bengal. And since the Pakistani forces were badly beaten and surrounded in East Pakistan, they had no option but to surrender, which they did. So, we must be very clear as to where we stand vis-a-vis United States. And the same goes to all the West European nations. None of them are our friends. Next, the only person is Russia. Unfortunately, United States has put Russia into the Chinese arms. So, they are also handicapped in coming out and supporting India openly. Coming back, so, we are now at a stage we must show greater patriotism, where every citizen must feel that he is a person from the Army, Navy, Air Force, and do nation building. And let me tell you, the progress we are making, nobody can stop us from progressing further and further.
Thank you. We are so honored that we are here to be able to listen to such a senior person as yourself at 81 years old. 81 years. Thank you so much, sir.